At the beginning of the 2000s, real estate developers saw a great opportunity in creating artificial lands off the coast of Dubai. The booming real estate industry in the Emirates seemed unstoppable, and the demand for ocean properties was enormous. Dubai had already expanded along most of its coastline. So, Naked Properties, a real estate company owned by the Dubai government, made plans to radically change the region. In just 2 decades, between 2001 and 2006, several projects were announced. The company planned 3 different island projects that, when viewed from space, would resemble the shape of palm trees: Palm Jumeirah, Palm Yev, and finally Palm Dera, the largest of them all. Additionally, The World, an artificial archipelago located near Dubai's coast, was announced. This engineering project was one of the most ambitious in the Emirates' history. The islands of the world are about kilometers long and 7 kilometers wide, with various areas planned, from single-family homes to complexes and commercially usable islands. In a second phase, the world was planned to be complemented by an even larger project called the Universe. Artificial islands were planned to resemble the shapes of the Sun, Moon, planets of the Solar System, the Milky Way, and even a galaxy. Next to Palm Yev, another gigantic project was set to be created: Dubai Waterfront. These star and crescent-shaped islands were meant to symbolize important Islamic symbols. The construction project was announced as the largest man-made development in the world, with the shape also serving as a protective barrier against erosion for Palm Yev. With all these projects, most of Dubai's coastline would have been transformed. On one side, Dubai meets Abu Dhabi, and on the other side, the Emirate of Sharjah. Looking back, the level of confidence with which these projects were advanced was incredible. But the islands were seen as prestige projects, fulfilling the massive goal of turning Dubai into a major tourist destination and thus creating new sources of income for a place that had obtained most of its wealth through oil extraction. Now, let's take a look at what happened with these ambitious plans. In 2001, Night Hill Properties started building Palm Jumeirah. This project alone would double the length of Dubai's coastline. By 2006, land reclamation was completed, and the first apartments were handed over. Today, Palm Jumeirah is an artificial cluster of islands off the Dubai coast. Seen from a seaplane, it resembles a palm tree surrounded by a crescent-shaped breakwater that protects the islands from strong waves. Construction began 20 years ago, in June 2001, and used sand and rock rather than concrete. Palm Jumeirah is now home to luxurious hotels, pristine beaches, and almost 80,000 people. However, while Palm Jumeirah was progressing, these projects started to take shape. Dubai was growing rapidly, and the real estate market was booming. Impressive projects like the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, and the Atlantis Hotel on Palm Jumeirah were being completed. But the celebrations couldn't change the fact that the international financial crisis would impact Dubai. A journalist wrote, "Dubai spent $20 million on a party to inaugurate the Atlantis Hotel last week." The headline was "Parties in Dubai while the rest of the world reels from the economic crisis." Another journalist commented that Dubai had been hit by the global financial crisis, especially in real estate. Mega projects like the artificial islands off the coast were at risk of collapsing. Many construction sites were closed due to reduced demand. Land prices plummeted, and the development of Palm Dera stopped in 2011. Naked Properties offered refunds to investors, and the project has been on hold since then. The empty sandbanks stretching 7 kilometers into the sea suddenly seemed forgotten. Palm Island's construction began with divers examining the seabed. Workers used blown mountain rock to construct a crescent-shaped breakwater. Inside Palm Jumeirah's crescent, it sits a little over 4 meters above sea level during low tide and is 10 meters deep. The lower layer of the breakwater is sand covered with water-resistant, erosion-resistant geotextile. The sand is then covered with 1-ton rocks, crowned with 2 layers of 6-ton rocks each, placed by a floating crane. Inside the crescent, 2 220-meter openings prevent narrow, deep channels from stagnating. Every 13 days, these spaces allow water to circulate fully. To build the islands, sand was dredged from the sea floor and transported from the Persian Gulf. The sand was then compacted using water jets and vibration to increase its density and stability. Desert sand couldn't be used for this project as it liquefies when water is added, making it unsuitable for building an artificial island. Differential GPS was used to map out the palm shapes accurately. During construction, island workers lived in the fronds and anchored ships. Despite concerns about environmental damage caused by the projects, Palm Jumeirah is now filled with villas, hotels, and attractions. Luxury hotels line the trunk of the palm, while private homes occupy the fronds. Temporary residents, vacationing tourists, and real estate speculators are the primary buyers. About 80,000 people call Palm Jumeirah home, with a capacity of 120,000. An underwater 6-lane tunnel connects it to the mainland for tourism convenience. The island's only public transportation option is a monorail running along the Palm, inaugurated in 2009. New resorts continue to open on Palm Jumeirah, and luxury apartments are still being financed and built. Moving on to the world islands, initially, much progress was made in construction, and many of these islands were sold before the financial crisis. However, due to the financial problems that arose during the crisis, many investors who had purchased these islands found themselves in a difficult situation, and development couldn't continue. Despite increased investment in new Dubai projects after the crisis, the World project didn't capitalize on this trend. 10 years had passed since the initial project was introduced, and by that time, the World no longer seemed to fit well with the current situation. There were considerable concerns about the project's viability, as smaller canals between the islands began filling with sand, making navigation difficult. Moreover, rising sea levels posed a threat to the project. Growing concerns surrounded land reclamation's impact on the marine ecology. Accumulating vast amounts of sand in once uniform areas had a negative impact on the marine ecology, as these islands primarily consist of shallow coastal waters sand. This raised worries about coastal soil stability and erosion risk. While these consequences have been known for some time, promoting projects considered harmful to the environment became increasingly difficult. Many recent projects have aimed to incorporate environmental considerations into their development. Moreover, the challenging living conditions of immigrant construction workers in Dubai's construction industry became a significant media topic. However, there have been some advancements in island development. Initially, only one island was fully developed and used as a model to promote the project. In the summer of 2012, the Royal Island Beach Club was inaugurated on one of the islands, attracting tourists who could reach it by boat. The most significant project, though, was announced in 2014. An Austrian real estate investor revealed plans to develop multiple projects on European-themed islands. The Heart of Europe project involves a chain of exclusive islands inspired by European countries, with luxury hotels taking inspiration from places like Venice or Monaco. There will also be a series of restaurants with European cuisine and a plaza on the Swiss island, where artificial snow will fall. The project is currently under construction, and time will tell if it brings the desired economic success. Risky development projects exist all over the world, and some fail in urban development. Prestige projects aim to enhance a city or region's image and appeal, often involving the construction of iconic buildings, parks, museums, and shopping centers. The primary goal of these projects isn't necessarily direct financial gain but rather to improve the city's image, attract tourism, investment, and overall economic development. These projects often serve as national pride or symbolize new eras, using innovative construction methods or setting world records. If Dubai is criticized for creating mega projects, the same critique should apply to other places as well. However, the question remains of how these projects that transformed Dubai's coastal landscape will be viewed in hindsight, especially as Dubai's growth slows down, and nature's force proves more potent than human endeavors, regardless of the money invested. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leaving a comment would greatly help us. YouTube's neural network values comments highly and recommends our videos to more people. Don't forget to like the video and activate notifications to receive updates on our upcoming content. See you in the next video.